creating new sisterhoods, but engaging the women who we haven't seen in a while. Okay. Reaching out to that. Get to know more of the past presidents and talk about challenges and successes. Okay. Focus on involvement with area days. So encouraging your local group to maybe even host an area day. Better manage email and communications. Yeah, that's always a challenge. And frankly, I'm not really sure that a past president needs to be doing that. Although I will tell you that one of the great things that will come out of the new WRJ website is the opportunity to really see real time a lot of the new stuff that's going on. Maybe a past president could be asked to monitor the WRJ blog to see what's up and coming and to share sort of what's on the horizon, what's on the cusp, what's, do a little futuring for the women in the group, which will hopefully excite them and give that past president some connection to moving forward. I will tell you, some years ago, I went to a sisterhood that had a very long and rich history, and their past presidents, probably going back 10 presidents, where I came to all the board meetings. And one of them was, in fact, the treasurer. And she stood up to give a treasurer's report, and she's literally reading line items and dollar amounts. And I leaned over to the president and I said, "Can I get a copy of that?" "No, we don't give out copies of the budget." How? So people sitting here can just absorb this minutia and the dollar amounts, and they get it. And she's like, "Well, we all trust Bonnie. I mean," I'm like, okay. So I do not recommend having a past president who is that controlling, in control of something like that. But if she is encouraged to put her energy into either futuring, sort of keeping an eye on WRJ, what's coming down the pipe, engaging in area events for the district, reaching out to women in the community, in the congregation who we haven't seen in a while. I think that plus, of course, making her the table captain for captains for the next event. Let her round up all the hostesses. But
I think I brought it up in part because I feel we haven't done it terribly well, and that we've had issues with past presidents who've been very controlling, and it seems to have gone one of two ways. Either they remain in that position and cause those issues, or we alienate them by not making them feel welcome in that position. And as changes take place, they basically walk away. And they walk away not in a positive way, but in a, I don't want to have anything to do with this anymore way. And so that's why I wondered if anybody had anything to say. I really like the suggestion of making it a bigger picture position, to say, and maybe to build that in at some point, that our tradition is that our past presidents take on a role with a larger organization. I think what I'm feeling is I almost want to do this ahead of time in case it happens again. It's more that than anything else that I'm feeling. It's not an immediate issue at all, but it's more just, this didn't go well, and I'm not quite sure how we could have done it differently. So thank you. I think that's those are good suggestions. I really appreciate them.
Well, I can tell you that some years ago, when Blair Marks became president of Women of Reform Judaism, the Women of Reform Judaism has a seat on the HUC-JIR Board of Governors. We have for many, 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 many years. And historically, it was the Sisterhood president who had that seat. There's so much else going on that the president of WRJ does not have the bandwidth to really engage and play a meaningful part in the Board of Governors. And so Blair and I had a conversation, and I said, look, when I become president and you are immediate past president, I want you to take the WRJ seat on the Board of Governors. Now, of course, that meant that she did all of her term when she was president, but really couldn't engage, plus the 3 years of my term. And it made a huge difference for her and for the relationship between WRJ and the college. Now I am on the Board of Governors, and I do have the time and the latitude. So encouraging that representing us, or that sort of the larger picture, that may very well satisfy. And then ask her for reports. You've been I'm making this up. You're on the film festival committee for us. Tell us what's coming, or anything like that. I think that may help in some way. Anybody got
wonderful idea? It's a wonderful idea. Yeah, and because right now I am on our temple board and I do nothing. I basically show up for the meetings, but because I literally, as you say, I don't have the time. Brilliant. Anyway, I love it. That's great. Thank you.
Any other ideas? Michelle Katz, are you playing with your computer, or are you raising your hand? Okay, Michelle Katz. You're muted. I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, so I have a couple of ideas. Good to see you, Susan. Some of the things that we've tried that have worked immensely, just really, really well, was we do have a night where past presidents get together and help do calls for membership. Because we do know a large group of the community, the women community. We do make outreach, and of course others are on the committee too, but they do call and get great results. So we can enlarge our membership that way. We can keep the past presidents involved, and this is a past president night. So that's really good. That's one way to keep your past presidents involved. Another way is to keep, if you need bylaws reviewed or anything of that nature. That has been a good place where past presidents have served very well, because they know the ins and outs, like you were saying. They know what's worked in the past, what hasn't worked. And that's another way where they can be involved or take charge, depending on what's necessary. So just things like that. I agree that something where they can have a voice in addition to using their leadership, but yet not having to be everywhere and not feeling like they need to be everywhere. Sounds like a good plan. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Great ideas.
So this is Tina Wolf, and Michelle, I have a question about your past presidents. When they get together, do they do something more than just reminiscing, or do they become active? What kinds of things are they gathering for?
Okay, some continue to come to board meetings. Some like for this night of making membership calls, some come and make membership calls on 1 or 2 nights. So it's not reminiscing really. That might be part of it, but we mostly just make outreach and take lists of people that we'd like to call that have not joined, but generally have joined in the past. And we're very successful with that night or couple nights of making calls to past members of Sisterhood.
Yeah, past members. So often you lose those members that you had 2 or 3 years ago, and you're wondering what happened to them. So the past presidents would be in touch.
Right. Yes.
That's a great idea. Any other thoughts? Yeah, Robin. Unmute, please. Unmute, please, Robin.
Yeah, I just did. Okay. So I was going to say, in my sisterhood, a lot of times the past presidents run the trainings, and we kind of scat out. The joke used to be that if Ellen Pollock and I asked you to breakfast, say no, because they're targeting you for president and they won't take no for an answer. But
I loved Ellen.
I know, I did too. And we just kind of worked that way. We saw their strengths and kind of spent the year building them up and preparing them for their next position.
Nice. That's mentoring 101 right there. That's great.
Mhm.
Anyone else? Eve, is your hand up or are you driving? No. Okay, she's driving. I think that these are all great ideas. So I do, yeah, just want to make sure I'm staying on my outline. I am. All right, so let's put the slide back up, please. So really, one of the things is to remember that their support is critical. It's critical in, okay, next slide, please. There we go. What they do and how they do it. Acting as the coach. It may very well be that you have a newbie who is chairing a committee and is unsure, or maybe wants a co-chair, and that might be a great place for an immediate past president or a past president to mentor / co-chair with a rising leader on a committee, because this gives comfort to the person who hasn't done it before, and comfort to the president knowing that, well, there's someone who's keeping the train on the track, so to speak. It's a great way to encourage partnerships and mentoring. Also, it's really important that the current president, the current leadership, have buy-in on the part of the board, so that if a program or a policy is adopted by your board, your sisterhood board, that the members of that board support it and defend it, whether or not they voted for it. That's a really important piece that has to do with governance in general. Everyone is welcome to speak their mind, speak their piece. But once the board has voted, it's really important that everyone, including the immediate past presidents, that they're all on board with it and speak to the appropriateness and in support of it. And that can be a real challenge, particularly if it's a contentious issue, if it's something that took a while to arrive at consensus. Also, the support of your immediate past president, absolutely, you want them coming to the board meetings, you want them coming to events and the appropriate committee meetings, because the last thing that you want to telegraph is, well, when you're done as president, you're out of there. No, no, no. You really want that individual, that IP, to continue having a presence and a voice. Maybe, Jenny, not quite as much voice as you were talking about, but you want them coming around, because really one of the signs of a healthy organization is prior leadership that still wishes to come around. Prior leaders who wish to continue to connect with that community and support the work of the organization. That really is the sign of a very healthy organization. Also, the immediate past president absolutely can help figure out how to raise money. They may very well have connections and may have knowledge of people who are willing to support either through money or in-kind contribution support for the women's group. If you know someone who, if she knows someone whose family owns, I don't know, a liquor distributorship, then that's who you want to go to ask for a donation of wine for the Shabbat dinner, congregational Shabbat dinner, if Sisterhood is sponsoring that. So who she knows who can help both financially, dollar-wise, as well as providing in-kind support. I already mentioned earlier, hospitality at functions by welcoming attendees. I have been to too many meetings where I heard someone say, well, I came to a Sisterhood luncheon. Every table I walked up to, I'm sorry, these seats are saved. No one spoke to me, so I left. I've heard that too many times. The reality is the immediate past president, all your board members, their job is hospitality. Their job is to welcome people who are showing up for a program or for an event, to welcome them, to make them feel good about having chosen to spend their time and possibly their money and support this event or program. So it's really, really critical that the immediate past president understand that she has a very important role in all of this. And of course, I don't know about you, but I have never seen a job description that didn't have as its last bullet, perform other duties as requested or other duties as assigned. So it's important also that your immediate past president understand that she is the utility player. She is the one who the president may reach out to. Okay, it's a tough job, but I need you to do it. Put together a committee to come in and set up for the luncheon. I don't care when you do it, but I need you to do it because it needs to be done right, or whatever it is. So it's really important that the immediate past president continue to support the activities and the work of your group without running it on behalf of the president. Next slide, please. So in summary, it's really important that she understands exactly what her roles are. For example, do you have a minhag where the immediate past president chairs the nominating committee or the bylaws committee, or is the honorary co-chair of the donor event? Whatever it is, whatever is the minhag, the tradition for your group, make sure that she understands it and understands what that entails. And if she needs help coming up with a timeline for it, help her with it, but chances are she doesn't. It's also important for the immediate past president to understand how to give advice and historical perspective in a positive way. We did it once and it was terrible. That's probably not helpful. We did it once and it didn't turn out the way we wanted. Could have had something to do with the sudden snowstorm that we had, but we're really not sure. We did it once and we didn't get enough publicity out in front of it and no one came, whatever it is. But it's important that the immediate past president really have an understanding of of the power of her voice, and giving advice and historical perspective needs to be done in a positive way, not in a pejorative or a negative accusatory way. And then finally, she needs to understand that she has skills, wonderful skills. And the best thing that she can do to benefit the board are to recruit new leaders, to engage new women into the group and provide leadership education. Someone mentioned that their past president or their immediate past president does the leadership education. That's wonderful. There are tons of resources from WRJ on Yammer, education for everything from budgeting to planning a program to putting together a newsletter to you name it, it's all out there. Some are videos, some are visuals, decks like this, but the opportunity to educate your board and have it done by a former leader is a real plus. Any questions or comments before we move on? Okay, next slide, please. For those of you who were on the program yesterday, those are the 10 seconds. We talked about asking a question and in your head, count to 10 because you have to give people time to realize A, you just asked a question. B, do I have any thoughts on this question? Oh, I have something I want to say. Now wait, how do I raise my hand? So all of that may very well take 10 seconds. So wait, it's okay. So here's the question. And then let's take down the screen because once again, I want to know what made you crazy when you started as president and how you worked through it, overcame it. Feel free to either wave at me or raise your electronic hand. Okay, Tina.
What really almost drove me batty was the fact that the past president didn't have anything in paperwork. She had no schedule of events to come up. She had no record of the minutes. She just sort of put me out there to do everything. And if it hadn't been for my past presidents who came to an organizational meeting, I would have no idea of what we were anticipating doing in that first year. And their support was very important to me at that time.
Well, yay. Judy?
Our sisterhood's 102 years old, and it's wonderful. And we have a member who's 96, and she's just very inclusive and always loves change. So I rely on her as a past president, and she's just amazing. But it's the constant, well, we always do it this way, but we always do it this way. Change is so difficult. In fact, I said, may we do an experiment, please? Can we just do an experiment? I appreciate at the time, 12 years ago, the membership drive used a stamp, whatever a stamp was, 12 years ago, times mailing to every sisterhood member. I said, oh, let's try bulk mail, which our temple will let us do. I'm happy to, do it. My husband does it for his nonprofit. I'll take you with me to the post office, and we'll mail an informational letter and a membership form. And we put a little remit in it and did the bulk mail, doubled our membership. And we have always now mailed to every female in the congregation. We just did join us, learn about us, come to our Divas Dining Out. And the last time we had a dining out, we had 6 a couple years back. That person picked a particular place every time. This time we picked an outdoor patio, center of San Jose, and we had 19 women from all different backgrounds.
Yay.
Oh, thank you, Susan. But it was just, and that was under someone else. That wasn't me. But that's positive change and positive direction. And that was from a new person said, hey, I know this outdoor patio. There's a parking lot across the street, which is huge in San Jose. If you have parking at a restaurant instead of street, that's one of the things that will kill your event if you can't park.
Wow. Dining with Divas, is that what it is?
Yeah, I went to the program last year online, the last time we got together as an area day, and they said the name is everything.
It is. It totally is. That's great. What a great idea. Yeah, a few years ago, a sisterhood tried something new. I don't know. Let's have an event at an art gallery. Who knew, right? And we'll offer sparkling wine and little pickup things. Fine. We've never done that. No one will come. Okay, well, then we'll just drink a lot of sparkling wine and eat the little pickup things. There were probably 40 or 45 women who showed up. And I got to tell you, I didn't know any of them. I'd never seen them at anything.
Right.
It was totally different. It drew an entirely different crowd. And one of the women said to me, I didn't know you guys did this kind of thing. I like this. And I'm thinking to myself, well, we didn't before, but we need to now. So the whole idea is try it. And if it succeeds, yay, you. How can you build on that? And if it doesn't succeed, ask yourself why. What could we have done differently? You learn a lot more from a failure than you do from a success. But really, we've all had the conversation or heard the conversation. If we do that, no one will come. Okay. The truth is, and there's 3 SWs. Some will, some won't. So what? Try it. Do it. There was, before the pandemic, there was a tremendous success rate with sisterhoods doing those, the draw and drink things, the Pinot and paint. Wait, don't drink the Pinot, but you paint and drink Pinot. And there was, okay, what does tremendous success look like? It could be 15 women, it could be 30 women. Who knows? But it's women coming together and creating community. And if you do what's the oh my heavens, mojitos and midrash, coffee and conversation, tequila and Talmud. Okay, alcohol, maybe not everybody, but it's a big draw though. So just, thinking about trying new things. It's hard. Yeah, Carol.
How does one who is a past president and has been basically, how do I put it nicely? Said we don't need your services anymore. Like the new president set up a mentor system, and the old president wasn't one of the mentors. So how does somebody who's in that situation try to stay involved? Like, how do you say, yeah, I still want to be involved, but I don't know how to go about doing that. So how does that happen on the other end? I mean, mostly it's because we have overly active presidents, but when you've been gently asked to take the, go out the door, what do you do?
It's a great question. Who's got some answers? Who's got some thoughts? Yeah, Judy.
I think it goes back to, and I'm from a temple that we have a lot of members who've been members for 60, they're 80s and 90s years old, but they're super sharp and still want to be involved. And I've learned over the years, and with Rabbi's help, is you want to honor the past, but you want to progress to the future. So finding that skill set and finding what that person is good at, whether it's phoning, maybe a inbound, homebound senior, but that person who still wants to be involved, there's always something that they can do and value. And I run into that a lot where we have board meetings and someone will come and chat. And so if we could talk to them in advance, get their great ideas by phone, by Zoom, and give them assignments, it's really helped.
Okay.
Have them just chair a committee.
Yeah, if they're not driving, the Zoom helped a lot last year. I mean, we increased our membership with Zoom because we could reach more people.
Mhm.
And more people felt connected to us because they could Zoom. But the in-person, we'll see this year how it goes. We actually like Zoom, except for events.
So, yeah, Jenny.
I was just going to say, Carol, that it's interesting. It's an interesting perspective because it's almost the flip side of what I was asking about. And I wonder whether, I mean, it depends on your relationship, obviously, but I wonder whether coming at the president with the suggestions that that Susan made around a bigger picture kind of a thing, and coming up with something that you might, a future vision you might want to work towards, or something where you're not invading on anybody else's territory, but you're finding a way. I don't know. I think that's what really appealed to me about what you said, Susan, was finding that role for the past presidents. And I just wonder whether we can flip that and have that be a way of approaching the president. Because if you're not touching anything that they're already doing, then maybe that would be less invasive and feel a little bit okay. It's a really interesting perspective. And so thank you for reminding us that there's a real person behind the person that's making you crazy, you know, like that's also going on at the same time. So anyway, that would be my thought. I just thought we should go back to what we'd already talked about. And before we stop, I just also want to say that I was at a workshop earlier that said, if you're trying something new and 4 people show up, that doesn't mean it's a failure.
Oh, right.
Right? That means those 4 people came. And the chances are, if you do it again, they may tell their friends that it was great and that the next time you actually will have more success. Anyway, it's just a reminder that a failure isn't always a failure, or it doesn't have to be a failure just because of the numbers.
Well, you know, if people had a quality experience, that's really what you want. You want people to go home feeling like, well, that was a good use of my time. Not, well, that's 2 hours of my life I'm never going to get back. You want them to feel good about investing themselves, about investing their time, their energy, or whatever. You know, it also occurs to me, frankly, if a woman who's finished her presidency and is not finding satisfaction in her own sisterhood, but still feels like she has much to give, I would recommend engaging with the district board or the WRJ board. It's a different kind of work. It's a different level. The North American board and the district board, these are not sisterhoods, but they are boards and they have committees and they do a lot of work, but it's not as laser focused, obviously, as a congregation's women's group is. Still, it's a great way to be involved. And again, blows the picture out a little bit, engages you beyond the 4 walls of your congregation, and at the same time provides you with experience, information, and opportunity to share with the women in your congregation who might otherwise not be aware of what's going on out there. So hopefully you can find a way. But the thing that keeps coming to my head is show up. If there's a program, show up. You don't have to run it. Sit in the back row and enjoy it. If it's a meal or if it's some sort of event, show up. Be supportive. Buy the raffle tickets. Whatever. Because I think that the support, whether you are performing leadership functions or not, you're still seen as a leader. And the actions that you model, the behaviors that you model, really show the others, well, this is what leaders do. And you don't take your toys and go home. Any other thoughts and comments? Well, I want to thank you for coming to this. This is a little bit longer than I normally go, usually an hour. I figure the brain can only absorb as much as the bottom can endure. And we've been enduring for over an hour. So I very much appreciate your patience and your attention. Oh, Nancy, you raised your hand? Yes, you did. I see it now.
not consciously. But I want to say you do a marvelous job. I always love to hear you.
Oh,
Thank you for your knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you. This is my happy place. What can I tell you? You wouldn't believe it if I told you that my first foray on the NFTS board, I was something of a shrinking violet. I was just completely overwhelmed, couldn't find my voice, couldn't find my feet. And there were wonderful, wonderful role models like Elaine Saperstein. Oh, hi, Elaine. And Ellen Pollock, and oh my heavens, Diane from Lafayette. You know who I'm talking about. Michelle, unmute yourself.
And Portnoy.
Yes, yes. Wonderful, wonderful leaders, mentors, teachers, nudgers, all of the above. And yeah, you know, I managed to find my feet and find my voice, and here I am. And that's me.
And aren't we lucky?
You're very kind. All great. And thank you all. The last slide, all it says is thank you. So we're not going to go to it. I'm just going to say thank you. Thank you all. And the close, oh wait, I should know this. The closing event, 2:45, which I think it's like 2:20 where you are. Is that right? Do I have my time? I mess up time zones all the time.
Yeah.
Well, you have a moment then for a bio break. I must go refill my iced tea lemonade mix. And I'll see you before long, but don't forget, you can still give to the Yes Fund. It's still there. And if you need the QR code, I'm happy to put it up behind me. I don't think we're doing the cookies anymore. Sherry has way too many to bake, but we are still wide open for Yes Fund gifts. Thank you. I'll see you in a bit.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Susan. Thank
Wonderful.
you.